Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Where do we begin? So to say Disney's having a problem with Star Wars is kind of an understatement. The sequel trilogy is very mixed across the board, and the franchise not too long ago suffered its first box office bomb. Only recently with The Mandalorian did Disney create something Star Wars related that people universally loved. In terms of my thoughts on the sequel trilogy, well, let's go over them quickly. Force Awakens. I honestly still really like it. Sure, it's very derivative from Episode 4, but it had a lot of original ideas that I still really enjoy to this day. The Last Jedi. Well, hear me out here. I do not like this movie. I think it's honestly really boring and wastes my time. But I can admire what it tried to do. I really like what they did with Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren. It's just that the rest of the movie isn't up to par at all. And now here we are with the so-called end of the Skywalker Saga, the ambitious endgame of Star Wars as Disney wants to put it. And watching the movie for the first time on a big IMAX screen, it was fun. Then I got out, and then I started thinking. Then I came to the conclusion that this movie's garbage. I've never seen a movie so inconsistent, so poorly edited, so at war with its predecessors since, well, Transformers 5. I can't blame JJ entirely for this because The Last Jedi really steered him into a corner, but as a good filmmaker you should probably learn to adapt to the changes rather than, ignoring them entirely? Even if the last movie's bad, you gotta follow up on it or else the world just feels less convincing and real. This is Star Wars, not Terminator where you can change the timeline to retcon other movies out of existence. Even the characters aren't that compelling. I was really excited to see Rey, Finn, and Poe work together like an actual trio, but even I'm let down by it because their dynamic only goes one of two ways. It's either them bickering like they're some kind of dysfunctional married couple, or it's Rey running off to do something uber important to the plot and everyone just stands back and watch, usually accompanied by John Boyega yelling, "Rey!" Oh, Finn. You were such an amazing character in The Force Awakens, and look what these last two movies did to you, man. The main returning hero for this movie is Lando, which... he's nowhere in this movie. I mean, technically you can say Billy D. Williams showed up to work and did something, but it means nothing to the plot. You can cut him out of the film and it does absolutely nothing. Princess Leia? You did what you could when it comes to giving her closure. I don't think she fit in the majority of this film, at all. You could tell this was deleted scenes from The Force Awakens. But I appreciate the sentiment that was giving respect to Carrie Fisher, her work, and her character. And there is some pretty interesting tidbits to her history that was revealed. So all in all, you did what you could, and I respect that. Palpatine, I mean, there's no spoilers, you already know he's coming. But his appearance in this film just feels so hollow. There's no energy, there's no fun that you saw in the prequels or the original trilogy. It's clear he's only here because Snoke is dead and JJ had to cobble together somebody for a big bad. The only amazing character in this movie that I was fully invested in was Kylo Ren, because he's the only consistent person in this trilogy. All of the powerful and emotional moments you'll feel throughout this movie is because of him. And that's the thing, consistency matters. Without it, we're not going to care. And because Disney did not have a plan and thus let directors do whatever they want, this is why nobody cares about the sequel trilogy as much as the originals or even the prequels. Without it, you're just watching a bunch of spectacle and flashy images on a screen. Rise of Skywalker wants to be Avengers Endgame so bad, but it doesn't understand a single thing as to why that movie worked. This movie rushes through everything so fast, nothing really sinks in with you. So when it all ends, you just feel hollow and lifeless. There's nothing to learn, there's nothing to think about, it's all just over. And I shouldn't be feeling that way about Star Wars. I shouldn't be thinking about this as just some movie that I'll forget about in a couple weeks. All I can think about is all the missed potential and how this trilogy could have been saved. Disney has made good Star Wars content, and I will defend Solo until the day I die. Maybe if this movie was a two-parter and thus had more time to flesh things out, maybe it could have been better. But we got what we got, and we can't really turn back from it now. All we can do is just look to the future and hope Disney learns from this mistake. And the future's looking pretty bright, honestly. Star Wars as a brand, as a tale, will never die. It'll just take a new form and touch generations. And its current form is not a girl named Rey, but rather, a baby Yoda.
Like a star, you can't stop my shine. I'm loving Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm the Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh.